My first couple years of marriage, I decided that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, so I bought a windshield business. I was 20. And my Mormon stake president reminded me that women weren't supposed to work, so I quit my own business, handed it over to my husband, took my name off of it. I would work our family business throughout the next 24 years of my marriage, but I never got paid. I didn't have a salary, my name wasn't on it. I literally worked for room and board.
Let me tell you about how my third husband tried to set me up to steal my business. So, a little background, I started a business while I was in pharmacy school in around 2013. Well, after I graduated in 2016, my business was already making over $100,000 a year. I decided I was not going to go take my boards and go try to find a pharmacy job because I was just going to work on my business. I figured if I could go to school full time, plus raise twin daughters and make over six figures a year in my own home based business, if I concentrated on it a little bit, I probably could do a lot better. So I met this guy on a dating app shortly after I graduated. And he was saying all the right things. And like Risa T said, not too long after our first or second date, I ended up having car troubles, and he literally took care of all of it for me. He picked me up, he took the car to one of his trusted mechanics, and even paid for it all. So, having been somebody who's basically had to take care of myself my entire life, I was thinking that, wow, what a blessing. You know, this guy has showed up. He's my knight in shining armor. And about 6 months into the situation, he proposed and we were married. Now, the first year that we were married, and keep in mind we hadn't known each other very long, he said that he had a tax preparer that he always worked with, and he thought that we should file our taxes jointly. Well, the tax preparer happened to be his cousin who had just gotten out of jail for tax issues. I expressed how I really don't think that we should be, doing our taxes with somebody who just got out of jail for tax issues with his business. And when I say tax issues, I mean fraud. But anyway, he explained to me that he'd been using him for a very long time. He got out of jail. All of that was in the past. And as his wife, I should trust him and trust his judgment. So I went with him to do a consultation just to see what it was that he was going to say. So we get there, we go over our tax situation. I'm a business owner. He worked a 9 to 5, so I did have some type of tax obligation. As somebody who makes over six figures a year, you are going to owe some money back 9 times out of 10. If this is you, hire some accountants, by the way, because a good tax plan will save you thousands. But anyway, back to the story. So after we go over our numbers, he suggests, the tax preparer suggests that if I were to put a percentage of my business in his name, in my husband's name, then that would decrease my tax liabilities because it would offset or would be offset by his 9 to 5 withholding. So after he is done counseling us that I should put a percentage of my business in my husband's name, he asked me how much of the business would I be willing to sign over to my husband so that I wouldn't owe so much in taxes. And keep in mind, this is my third husband, okay? I am not a novice at this point to the games and the manipulation. So he asked me that question, and I told him, I said, I love my mother, and I literally would trust that woman with my life, okay? She is my best friend. She is my confidant. I know she has my back at any time. Anything I need, I know I could go to her. And I told that man I wouldn't put 1% in her name. And if I wouldn't put 1% in my own mama name, I am definitely not putting no percentages in this man's name. That man wasn't there when I started the business. That man is now not there that I still have the business, okay? He didn't invest in anything. Matter of fact, he didn't even hardly know what I did. So I would definitely not be putting any percentage points of my business built on the back of my hard work, the sweat of my brow, into his name. Needless to say, we left that day in an argument because my husband would not understand that as a woman, as a business owner with kids, mind you, he's not put he a 9 to 5 is a 9 to 5. You don't own it. You can be fired, you can be let go, or whatever. If we were to separate, 9 to 5s do not transfer like a business in percentage point was. Like if I were dumb enough to put a percentage in his name after he started using, abusing, and he started, showing signs that he was actually a scam artist, then I would be stuck paying that man to this day, what, 8 years later or so, money and dividends for my business. So, ladies, I want you to think very hard, okay, about being in relationships and about being married. It is a financial partnership when you tie yourself to somebody else. And if you have children, it is your responsibility, okay, to protect them from financial abuse. There are a lot of stories out here online right now about women who have been divorced and now they're living out of their cars. They're homeless. They're stuck in dead end jobs making $10, $11 an hour with 4 and 5 kids to take care of. So be smart and always protect your time, your energy, and your money.